We're back with our first ship of Wave 12. This time we're taking a look at the Romulan Haakona. And we'll get right in and take a look. Here's our D'deridex dial. Exact same as the other ones we have. Nothing new here to see. There's our D'deridex-class. Maneuvers exactly the same as the other ones, like I said. That 2 reverse always comes in handy. A lot of people don't realize that's there, and you can pull some interesting maneuvers with it. There's our named Acuna, unique Romulan faction. 3 attack, 2 agility, 6 hull, 4 shield. They have 2 weapon upgrades, 3 crew upgrades for 30 points. Evasive, target lock, cloak, and sensor echo. And our ability is, when attacking with your primary weapon while cloaked, you gain +1 attack die for every other Romulan ship in your fleet, up to a maximum of +4. That's actually a really cool ability. I like that much better than the ability on the previous 2 D'deridexes. One of them only gave you a +1, and the other one involved how many damage cards you were, so you had to be pretty beat up in order to get the bonuses, and I think they were re-rolls on that. I have to double check, but anyway, it's much better ability. You run this with a couple smaller science ships and already it's boosting that attack way up. We have our generic. Losing 1 shield, losing 1 crew slot for 28. I believe the layout of the upgrade slots is a little different on these too. I'm pretty sure the other ship's got a tech slot. For our captains, we have Mendak. It's unique. Captain skill is 6, 1 elite talent for 4 points. And as an action, you can target a friendly ship at range 1 to 2, including your own, which is a nice little addition there, that has no battle station token beside it, and place a battle station token beside the ship. Target ship cannot perform battle station action this round. Mendak is also a admiral, which makes that into a fleet action, which is kind of weird since it can be used on ships within range 1 to 2 anyway. Well, it doesn't change much, but that +2 captain skill is kind of nice. Next we have Terrace. Captain skill of 5, 1 elite talent for 4 points. When attacking with your primary weapon during the declare target step, you may discard 1 of your crew upgrades to target a ship that is not in your forward firing arc. Kind of a neat ability. If you got a lot of expendable crew, might be worth it. A lot of the cheaper point ones, you get the security officers with this, which could be used for that, but being able to shoot in any direction, definitely a plus. Next we have Centurion. Not sure, I know Centurion is like a rank, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to be the same guy. I don't think so, but this one's unique anyway. You get a captain skill of 2 for 1 point. When attacking, you may reroll 1 of your battle station results. And last we have our generic Romulan captain. Captain skill of 1, 0 points. For our elite talents, we have Make Them See Us. 5 points. This one's kind of interesting because it's kind of a ram attack, which is weird to see for Romulans, but it's got a huge wall of text here. While cloaked during the activation phase before revealing your dial, you may discard this card and target a ship that you already have target locked. Remove your target lock from that ship. If you do this, and your ship base or maneuver template overlaps the target ship base during the execute maneuver step, inflict an amount of damage equal to the current speed of your maneuver to both ships to a maximum of 4. The ship where the captain whose higher skill is higher rolls a number of defense dice against the damage equal to the difference in skill numbers. It can only be purchased for a Romulan captain on a Romulan ship. It's very situational. I can see where it would be somewhat useful, but you have to be cloaked. You have to already have a target lock on the ship. They have to be within range where your template or your ship's going to overlap theirs. Then you do damage equal to both ships. And then, depending on who has the higher captain, you get to roll a handful of dice for defense. So, I mean, if you have a decently high captain skill and you're ramming a lower captain, I could see where it would be useful. But as a 5-point discard with a lot of different requirements, I don't see it getting a heck of a lot of use just because of the complicated combo needed to actually pull it off. I think there's better things I'd rather be doing at that point. But it is an interesting one, and might be surprising to someone to pull this out if they weren't expecting it. For crew, we have Romulan Security Officer for 2 points. For each Romulan Security Officer equipped to your ship, including this one, your captain skill is +1, up to a maximum of +3. When defending, you may disable this card to re-roll one of your blank results. Interesting card. Like being able to bonus up your captain skill. Works pretty good with Terrace, as you can discard these to boost her up after you've already boosted up her skill, so she's shooting first, and then you can discard these to get the ability to shoot something out of your fire arc. You do get 3 copies of these, so they are expendable. Interesting card, though. Next up, we have Romulan Helmsman for 2 points. During the activation phase, if you reveal a red maneuver, you can disable this card to treat that maneuver as if it were a white maneuver. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 Romulan Helmsman. A really nice combo with this guy is to use him to pull that 2 reverse maneuver and then count it as a white, so you don't get the auxiliary power. Definitely a lot of use there. It's the only red maneuver on this ship, but really nice way to fake out an enemy who isn't expecting you to pull that reverse maneuver. Then we have Romulan Sub-Lieutenant, 4 points. Discard this card to target a ship at range 1 to 2. If the target ship has a hull value of 6 or greater, that ship must disable 2 of its active shields, if possible. Otherwise, that ship must disable 1 of its active shields, if possible. This upgrade can only be purchased for a Romulan ship. Basically, you disable him to knock out shields on heavier ships. You use it against Borg, or I'm trying to think what else has hull that high. There might be a Klingon ship. There's some Romulan ships with high hull. Useful. Not sure at the cost of an action how useful, but there are definitely uses for him. For weapons, we have our standard Romulan plasma torpedoes. 5 points. 5 attack dice, range 1 to 2. Spend your target lock to perform the action. You can re-roll any of your blank results once. And it can be fired from a front or rear arc. Pretty standard there. Next we have Disruptor Pulse. 5 points. 3 attack dice, range 1 to 2. Disable to perform the attack. During the declare target step, target every enemy ship that is in your forward firing arc within range and perform a separate attack against each of those targets with this attack. Cost +5 points for any non-Romulan ship. It's only a 3 attack, but the ability to target multiple ships and fire at them is really nice. Against smaller swarms, I see people running like Bajoran interceptor swarms. It seems like it'd be quite useful against that. Be useful against the fighter squadrons because you could target them and something else at the same time. So it definitely has its usefulness. 5 points is a little steep for a 3 attack, but multiple attacks are always a good thing. Last we have Disruptor Beams. 5 points. 5 attack, range 1 to 3. Disable to perform the attack. For every damage the defending player suffers from this attack, roll an attack die. If you roll at least a hit or a crit, you get to add +1 damage. So, interesting weapon, has the possibility of doing 6 damage. Out of the 5 dice, you only have to hit once, and you're doing at least 2 damage. So, definitely has its usefulness there. On a ship that only has a normal 3 attack, it's definitely nice. But with some other combinations of Romulan cards to boost that attack up even higher, make it a more interesting weapon. Definitely an upgrade over the standard 3 attack, though, especially if you have the points to spend. 5 points is a little steep, but being a disable, it is reusable, so I can see this getting more use on a smaller, like, science type ship. Not sure if the Vo or the Apnex, one of them has the weapon slot. I think one of them does, because I think they come with plasma torpedoes, but definitely be interesting on one of the smaller ships like that to give it a little more bite. Alright, so with the rest of the expansion, we have our 4 shield tokens, 3 disable tokens for various upgrades, target lock B2, have our cloak and evasive maneuver tokens, auxiliary power and critical tokens. There's the fleet action and the admiral token there. We have our additional rules card explaining how the admirals work. I went over this a while back in the videos. I think it's the Enterprise refit video, if you're not sure how they work. The mission for this one is Contagion. It's based on the Next Generation episode where the ship showed up. Basically, they were checking out a Iconian planet, and it kept launching probes that gave the ships a computer virus. It started randomly shutting down systems. There's rules in here for the probes and the system malfunctions. By the look of it, it actually ends up being a co-op mission, because there's actually a, yeah, right there, this is a cooperative mission. So, not many of those around, so it's nice to see them. Still gotta catch up on my missions and play them all. As for the ship, we've already seen this model a couple times. It has quite a bit of detail in these panelings and things, and I've seen some people do some awesome jobs repainting these by doing these in various colors or whatnot. As for the stock paint, I mean, at least it's on the areas it's supposed to be. It's not all over the place, but of course it definitely leaves a lot to be desired, as most of the other ships. They didn't even paint the warp nacelles on this. This is what bugs me more than the paint. Most people are complaining about the paint, but if you can see there, there's actual nubs on the warp nacelle from where they cut it off the spruces, and they don't even bother to trim those off. And there's another on here. That bothers me more than the bad paint jobs. It's a lot harder to fix too, but the model itself is really cool, and definitely anybody with some skill with a paintbrush can bring out the detail in it. There we have our Hakuna base, 90-degree front arc, no rear arc sadly. I really think they need to put those on here. And the same with the generic. The no rear arc, I guess, is compensated by the fact that you have the captain who can shoot 360. So overall, it's a pretty solid addition to the Romulan fleet. The ship's is pretty much a standard D'deridex. I still think they should have a little bit more firepower. They were supposed to be on par with a Galaxy class, which I guess in this game they still are. But compared to some of the other ships out there, they feel a little undergunned. They do have some nice upgrades available, though, that kind of boost it up. This one's special ability plus the captain she has can really boost it up there. Security officers are kind of neat. The disruptor beams I definitely can see using on the smaller ships. Overall, it's a really good pack for Romulan players. If you're not a Romulan player, there's not much here to offer. The disruptor beams can go on other ships at the cost of the penalty point there, so you're looking at 6 points. That's really the only thing in here I can see you using on a ship if you didn't play Romulans. So you could take it or leave it in that case. But definitely for Romulan players, it's a good addition, and we'll see you in the next video.